The sun had only just risen above the dusty plains of Ouagadougou when 63-year-old Fatima Ouedraogo began her slow, practiced walk to the bus station. Blind for nearly 20 years, she navigated the world not through sight, but through sound, scent, and intuition. Her hand gripped her worn walking stick with grace, counting each step with calm precision. The early morning air carried with it the soul of Burkina Faso, the dry breath of the Harmattan winds, the sweet aroma of freshly baked bread from roadside ovens, and the heavy fumes of old diesel buses warming up for their daily journeys. Fatima was on her way to visit her daughter, a trip she made faithfully every month, no matter the heat, the dust, or her blindness. At the station, she was met by Musa, a familiar conductor whose voice carried both strength and affection. "Your usual seat, third row by the window, is ready." She smiled in gratitude, her face glowing with warmth. Around her, life stirred, passengers boarding, children giggling at foggy windows, women adjusting colorful head wraps, and the low murmur of morning conversations. The bus, though weathered and faded by the sun, was alive with energy and connection. Seated quietly near the back, dressed in plain clothes, was Ibrahim Traoré, a young military officer on official business, unnoticed by most. At just 34, his posture was calm, but his eyes missed nothing. As the bus rumbled to life and pulled onto the open road, Fatima felt that familiar joy that came with travel, not of sight, but of sensation. She listened to the heartbeat of her country, the sounds of markets, the cries of vendors, the laughter of children playing in red dust. But an hour in, something shifted. The engine's rhythm wavered, the vibrations beneath her feet felt wrong, and a faint, troubling scent lingered in the air. "Is everything all right?" she asked the young mother beside her. "I think so, grandmother," came the gentle reply. But in the back, Ibrahim had noticed too. His instincts flared, the engine's tone was off, the smell unfamiliar. Outside, the dry beauty of the savannah passed by, baobab trees, clay homes, and distant village drums. But inside that aging bus, something was building. Fatima couldn't see it. Ibrahim couldn't yet name it. But both of them felt it, something was about to change. The harsh, beautiful terrain of the Sahel passed by as the bus approached a small trading post for its routine stop, a place where passengers would stretch, grab a drink, and the driver would check the engine. But this stop would be anything but ordinary. The faint signals Fatima and Ibrahim had sensed earlier were warning signs of a coming crisis, one that would soon test not just courage, but humanity. The bus halted in a dusty lot. Most passengers stepped off, unaware of what was coming. Fatima, cautious in unfamiliar places, chose to remain in her seat. So did Ibrahim, quietly reviewing his documents. The first hint of danger came like a whisper, a thin curl of smoke beneath the vehicle. Ibrahim spotted it just as the driver did. "Driver," he called firmly, "there's smoke underneath." Alarm flashed across the man's face as he rushed forward, but it was already too late. The smoke thickened, dark and acrid, the air shifting with unnatural heat. Inside the bus, Fatima felt it before she smelled it, that quiet sense that something was deeply wrong. "Something's not right," she said, catching the attention of the young mother nearby. Then the smell hit them, burning fuel and melting plastic. The fire had begun. Panic rippled as the driver screamed, "Fire! Everybody off the bus!" Ibrahim jumped into action, directing the remaining passengers with trained urgency. The young mother rushed forward with her now crying baby. Two elderly men fumbled in confusion. But Fatima, trapped by her blindness, stood disoriented in the rising smoke, unable to find the exit. "Help me," she called out, calm but desperate. Ibrahim heard her voice through the chaos. In that moment, he made his choice. He would not leave. While others fled toward safety, he moved toward the flames, toward the blind woman who could not escape on her own. The smoke had become a choking fog, the heat now searing, and the fire devouring the aging bus with terrifying speed. But in the heart of that inferno, one man's courage and one woman's quiet strength were about to collide in a moment that would define them both forever. "I'm here to help you," Ibrahim said as he reached Fatima's trembling hand through the thick curtain of black smoke. "Take my arm, I'll guide you out." Her fingers wrapped around his sleeve with the fragile desperation of someone clinging to life itself. But before they could take more than a few steps, the situation spiraled. The fire had reached the undercarriage, and the bus was now one breath away from full detonation. Inside, the temperature had turned unbearable, the air choking with toxic smoke, melting plastic, and burning fuel. The door. I can't breathe, Fatima gasped, her voice cracking under the weight of the fumes. Even Ibrahim, trained to function in chaos, felt his bearings slipping. The smoke had robbed the space of light, direction, and air, turning a familiar route into a disorienting, deadly maze. Outside, the young mother who had once sat near Fatima now cried out, her voice raw with panic, "She's still inside! The blind woman, she's still in there!" The crowd stood frozen, horrified and helpless. The driver yelled into the radio, his voice cracking with urgency, but help was too far, too late. The fire had consumed the back of the bus, the metal frame now glowing red-hot, windows cracking from the heat. A few men ran forward with buckets of water and a dusty fire extinguisher, but the flames had grown monstrous, roaring like a living thing, immune to such small acts of resistance. Inside, Ibrahim could feel Fatima weakening, her legs faltering, her grip loosening. Her breaths came in short, broken gasps. "Stay with me, madam. Don't give up." "Not now," he said, half carrying her through the chaos. But the exits were gone, swallowed by darkness and heat. Then, a decision born of instinct and fire, he turned, guiding her toward what he hoped was a side window. "Hold here," he told her, then drove his elbow into the glass. The first blow cracked it. The second made it tremble. The third sent a jolt of pain through his arm, but he kept going. He had no other choice. Outside, the bus groaned, metal warping, flames hissing, and a terrifying vibration building from below. "It's going to blow," someone shouted. But inside, Ibrahim's world had narrowed to this one moment, this one life. He struck again, glass splintering. Fatima coughed violently beside him, her body buckling. The heat was unbearable. The smoke was suffocating. But he didn't stop. His lungs burned, his vision blurred, yet something deeper kept him moving, not survival, but duty. Not instinct, but humanity. In that furnace of fear and fire, as the bus prepared to erupt, Ibrahim refused to let go. He would not abandon the woman who could not save herself, not while he still had breath left in his body. With a final, desperate blow fueled by sheer willpower, Ibrahim's elbow shattered the window, sending shards raining down as precious, life-saving air rushed in. For a fleeting moment, the suffocating smoke gave way to a gust of breath that felt like hope itself. But there was no time to celebrate. The fire was closing in fast, and the window, though open, was narrow and awkwardly high. Getting